Siracusa is a professor of political history and diplomacy at Curtin University and joins us now live from Perth. Joe, thanks very much indeed for your time. Extraordinary developments, even by the standards of Donald Trump and American politics. What's your reaction?
Good morning. Well, I think Donald Trump's going to have to change his lifestyle. I mean, people have been taking shots at president since the beginning of the Republic. A dozen have been, well, say, 4 of them have been assassinated. 12 of them have been shot at. They received threats all the time. And it's not just a season of ugly language and heated words and the rest of it. I mean, they become magnets for all kinds of people. In my own lifetime, Lee Harvey Oswald killed President Kennedy, and then and John Hinckley badly wounded Ronald Reagan, and then we had a couple women within 17 days of each other tried to kill Gerald Ford. So it doesn't matter. I mean, the president is a moving target. Now look, if you're going to play golf, which is 18 holes of fairway, surrounded on both sides, surrounded by bushes and trees, what do you think is going to happen next? I mean, Gerald Ford and others have had to wear a 6-pound overcoat, and you can't play golf with 6 pounds of weight on you. So President Trump's going to have to change his lifestyle a little bit. But look, the season on this president is alive and well. The shooter that they got is trained. I mean, that AK-47 that he has, I understand from the sheriff that he was 300 to 500 yards away, which is an easy shot because in America, a lot of the rifle ranges, a lot of the gun ranges have capacity for that kind of training. So not hard. Indeed.
A lot of those examples that you cite, though, of attempts or assassinations, well, they took place decades ago. The US has enjoyed a period of relative stability when it comes to attempts on the life of candidates or indeed presidents. Now we've had 2 in the space of 2 months. Do you think this is a trend that Americans are going to have to get used to?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. We have 333 million Americans and 500 million guns that are registered. And so, you can just do the numbers from there. Now, look, even though we haven't had a president hit in recent years, a number of recent presidents, I think Barack Obama and a few others have received bomb threats and ricin in the mail and stuff like that. It's not just a gunshot. But you're right. It's violent. And American life, as I've said on this show, has become more and more violent in recent years, whether you're shooting at the president or not. We have children shooting at each other. I mean, that's how bad it is. But yeah, I think Trump has the attempt on Trump has unleashed sort of this demon thing, and two very different kinds of people took a shot at President Trump. So there'll probably be a third or fourth one if there is a wannabe or a copycat, etc. So I think it's going to get worse. Yes.
Yeah, and it raises big questions for the Secret Service, how this could happen for the second time since July. No doubt they'll say it's a question of resources, that they don't have enough. Perhaps more importantly, though, what effect do you think this will have, if any, on November's election?
Well, I think it will give Trump supporters more resolve than they had before. I mean, it confuses things for people. I mean, you want to vote for somebody and someone's trying to kill them, so you have to ask yourself, what are we doing here? Yeah, I think it will increase the anticipation and the like, and I think it's may get a little worse because that the American leadership today, both political parties, tend to use language that, maybe trigger people off. I mean, but language has always been severe, whether it was Andrew Jackson getting shot at or Abraham Lincoln being murdered. I mean, these people are bringing out very extreme type personalities. And this guy who took the shot at the president, I understand he volunteered for the war in Ukraine. He went over there. The man was familiar with guns. And the other thing, too, that bothers me is that most of these people who try to kill a president, they tend to be on somebody's radar. This guy apparently was on radar before with some kind of a standoff with a rifle. The guy before, the fellow who was shot in Butler County, he also was on the radar. Everybody is on someone's radar. So we're very bad. Now, Secret Service has a job to do, and I think they blew it this time. And so, we're going to have more and more scrutiny on the premier service in the United States.
And Donald Trump has already tried to use this to his advantage, as no doubt he will on the campaign trail. He's used it to try and boost fundraising. This will also no doubt play into his narrative that he's become a target because he speaks for so-called forgotten Americans. But does he Does he carry any responsibility for a rise in extremism in the United States?
Well, I think he's got a number of extremists going. He uses extremist language. He triggers these kinds of people. But let's get this straight. There's only so much Donald Trump can do with this. And I've been watching presidential candidates, for 50 years, and I can't believe that this president hasn't been deeply affected by what has already happened. He looks like sometimes he's wandering or he has PTSD. I mean, you can't take shots at someone without them being deeply affected personally. And this idea is saying that, I'm all right, and then trying to raise money. That's almost beside the point. I think it's having quite a personal toll on President Trump's personal health.
Joe, thank you very much indeed for your analysis. Pleasure to talk today. Joe Siracusa there from Curtin University.